Hello, welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz, and I will be guiding you on this journey today. It's already starting off great. Oh, anyway, this is a reading for Leo, wherever Leo shows up in your chart. Definitely be sure to check out your human design profile reading. Also, what is this over here? I'm telling you, if you have curly hair, please help. I cannot. I'm not really good with hair anyway. I'm not one of those people that was born with that gene. If there is a gene, but like with the ability to like do hair very well. I know I'm trying to figure out this curly hair thing, and I am struggling. Anyway, you might also, so if you've seen my other videos or not, it doesn't matter, but I bleached all just along my hairline, whereas I used to just have it right down the center, but I don't know. The next time you see me, I might, this blonde might be like all the way gone. We'll see. It's a journey, which is so funny because Jupiter, that's interesting. I wonder, Pluto is like opposing Leo right now, right? So if you have any placements in Leo, you might be feeling some effects from Pluto, and Pluto's in retrograde. Anyway, Jupiter is like literally sitting right on top of my sun right now. And it's kind of funny because I was just telling a friend that I feel like every decade of my life that I had control over it, I had a different hairstyle. And I just had an astrology reading the other day by the lovely Meg, the Expert astrologer. So if you are looking to get an astrology reading, I highly recommend Meg. And her Instagram is the Expert astrologer. Anyway, she mentioned that, Jupiter only goes over your sun every 12 years. And she was saying, like you might be changing the way that you express yourself or changing something about your appearance. And here I am changing my hair again. So that's kind of funny. Anyway, your oracle card that came out is Follow Your Bliss. I love that because there's literally this walkway into the sun, right? And Leo is ruled by the sun. I'll close that door in a second. I don't know if it's as loud for you as it seems to be for me, but I'll close it here in just a second. It's so nice outside. Let's get your tarot cards out. But yeah, I love that. I love that the path is leading right into the sun. And, the sun card in tarot does talk, it's literally joy and bliss and like everything good. It's rebirth, healing, it's like shedding light on the darkness type of thing, because I guess that's really what it does, right? When it comes up in the morning, it provides the light that takes us out of the dark. We have the King of Swords, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Speaking of Jupiter, we have the Emperor, Mars. And that is the card of Aries. Mars is in Aries right now. We have the Tower card under the King of Swords. Interesting. We have the Knight of Pentacles under the Wheel of Fortune. And then the Four of Cups under the Emperor. And then the Chariot at the bottom of the deck. The Eight of Cups. Page of Cups. I'm not gonna lie, this kind of feels like a journey that you're going to have to do alone. Not that there won't be people around you, but like if you're waiting for other people to validate or be as excited as you, or even be the ones that kind of light that fire under your ass, like, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to have to come from you. It's a decision that you have to make, and even a commitment that you have to make to whatever the bliss is. Let me close this door. Hold on. Okay. I feel like it's just stringy. I don't know how to fix the stringy thing. And also, like, you get that crunch or that cast. I feel like I can't fully figure out how to break the cast to where it doesn't still feel crunchy and stringy. So anyway, you're the only ones that I've even complained about this to. So I wonder if there is somebody, one of you, who knows what I'm talking about and can help me. That's funny. Anyway, okay, so let's follow your bliss. All right. So it says, your bliss is the breadcrumb trail that will lead you to your higher self and path. Following the little things that light you up will ensure that you are on your adventure and not someone else's. If something interests you, it's meant for you. The journey isn't always joyful or easy. No great adventure is, but it is worthwhile because it's yours and it's true. There's a beauty and wisdom in all its seasons. Bliss is the true north of your compass. Follow it and you will be on your way. If you do follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while, waiting for you. I love that. Yeah. Because like I said, like, it does have this feeling of like you having to make that decision. It also might mean that you have to stray from the herd, basically. Because again, it's like, it's one of those things of, if you've been putting all of your attention, focus, time, energy, whatever, into somebody else because, like, you want to help them actualize their vision or help them on their path, or whatever the case may be, right? Almost like with the expectation that it would be reciprocated. It might not, unless, that's communicated, right? And there's some sort of like understanding there. Even then, it doesn't mean that somebody would actually keep their word, right? But, and two, sometimes when we do that, when we're focusing so much on other people, their potential, their path, their whatever, it really is, just a distraction so that we don't have to focus on our own stuff and we don't have to actually take the steps to get to where we want to go because whatever, we're scared. We don't think it's possible. We can't possibly imagine how it would happen. Very interesting. So we start with the King of Swords. I love this King of Swords. And you would think that I would have this book actually memorized because I kind of love, let me just read it first and then I'll tell you my thoughts, of course. On it says, reunited, the sun and moon offer their own light to the star in a way that neither could have done on their own. The star then creates his brothers and sisters in the night sky, giving birth to the universe of stars we know today. The moon has taught the sun an invaluable lesson in patience and coexistence, and since then, the sun and the moon have existed in perfect harmony. And the keywords for this card is recovery, clarity, cohesiveness, regeneration, which feels very kind of sun card anyway, a little bit. Even though this is an air card, it's swords, right? But, there's the sun and the moon there. And obviously, like, we all have the sun and the moon in our chart, right? You might be a Leo sun. If you're not, obviously you would be a Leo rising maybe, or wherever, because I know I said wherever Leo falls in your chart. But we all have the sun and the moon in our chart, and the sun is, our personality, our outward appearance. It illuminates us, right? So I've heard people also talk about it in terms of ego. And then the moon is our emotional body, how we process emotions, how we deal with our own emotions, how we deal with other people's emotions also. So it's this balancing act between the two luminaries in the sky, right? Because the sun is during the day, the moon is at night, depending on what phase it's in, if we can see it or not, which is also very dependent on the sun, right? Because the sun, it's the rays of the sun that reflect off the moon. So I don't know, I just love this card. And especially too, because swords do have to do with our mindset, our beliefs, ideas, truth, honesty, but like divine objective truth. I also see swords as being the suit of ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego, is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to feelings and experiences, circumstances, whether they're our stories or not, and whether they're true or not. But they become the reason why we do things and why we don't do things, right? Like we receive information from our environment, it goes through the filter of our ego, and then it kicks out some story of what we believe our reality to be based on our ego, based on whatever makes up that filter, right? So with the King of Swords being at the beginning, there is this like moment of clarity that you could experience. It is the highest expression of the suit. So, I mean, this could be you, this could be somebody else. I mean, we're talking about you. So I feel like it would be talking about you, Leo. And kings are leaders, right? They are an authority. They oversee a kingdom. People usually look to them for guidance and advice, right? So it's having emotional clarity. It's also I said emotional clarity, mental clarity. I like these Freudian slips. I mean, we're just going to roll with it, but that's just kind of funny. But having that mental clarity, but also relying on what you know to be true, right? Like it's relying on your intelligence, relying on what you've learned, whether that's through like a literal book or just life experience. It's also being objective, like what can you prove? What can you not prove? It's also, like I said too, because we have this balance between the sun and the moon. So it's almost like your ego and your emotions somehow being in balance, like you have a very mentally clear picture of those two things, and it's like you can almost focus that energy in a certain direction. And it's interesting that it's paired with a Tower card. This is also Mars, which is Aries or Scorpio. And again, right, like Mars is in Aries right now. So wherever Aries is for you, maybe you are feeling something, feeling some sort of pressure or oomph in that area of your life. The Tower card is about upheaval, sudden change. I believe this card, does it talk about like awakening to truth or something like that? Let me see. Sudden change, upheaval, uprooting, disruption. Oh no, in the reverse, it's awakening to truth. At least I got it half right. This says the shadow of the devil grabs the tower and uproots it from the ground it was firmly planted in. This drastic upheaval arrives as a fool comes to terms with their newfound state. It is out of the fool's control to change the forces of fate, but they can move through these changes with grace and an openness to understand why this uprooting is necessary. Exactly. And that's why I'm saying, like, I was saying at the beginning, like, this is definitely, it's something that, like, you have to decide. It's how important is this for you? And also, how uncomfortable is it to not be walking on this path? It's like, is that pressure or that discomfort getting to be more noticeable, or like you're just feeling it more? It's even maybe occupying your mind more, because the energy is available here to make that change. It could just happen like that. You could just decide just like that. Boom. You know what? This is what I'm doing. I'm stepping on this path. I'm going towards my bliss. The picture is very clear in my head now. It could affect some things around you. It could affect relationships. It could affect, whatever. It's interesting. The Tower is like, there's a spectrum because it could be something that's just a behavior pattern, an old behavior pattern, or an old, thought pattern, ego, right? And just like that, you could be like, that's not my story anymore. That's not the behavior that I want to exhibit going forward. And just like that, boom, you're done. You're done. Or it can be totally dismantling, where, like your relationships change drastically, and it, like, many different areas of your life can be affected: where you live, where you work, who you relate to, who you're in relationship with, right? I've experienced both of those, and anywhere in between too. So, I know when the Tower card comes out, it's like, the Tower, but the Tower is only going to affect the things that are no longer serving your highest good. That's it. It's not going to touch the things that are there to benefit you and are working in your favor. So if you notice things just falling away, of course that can be uncomfortable. However, know that for whatever reason, and whether you know it or not, those things, those people, that job, that house or the apartment, whatever it is, wherever, you were living, the state that you were in, the city, just know that it wasn't the best thing for you. And there is this level of trust that is necessary. Then we have the Wheel of Fortune after that. This is like such a perfect card to come after the Tower card. This is the Fool in their boat being guided by this lantern here. Again, I said something about like shining light in the darkness, right? And how the sun takes us out of darkness. Like this lantern is the thing that's lighting up their journey there. We can even see that on the water a little bit. I didn't even notice that. But like I said, the Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter. Jupiter's been in Taurus, but it's about to go into Gemini. So wherever, those places fall for you, you could be noticing a difference, a change in those aspects of your life. But the Wheel of Fortune, I always see it as a good card. I don't care where it shows up, but it just talks about change. However things were in the recent past, in the, past, it's going to change. This story always kind of like comes to mind when I see the, well, not always, but sometimes. And when it comes up, I share it. But back in, was it 2021, I was laid off from my corporate job, and I didn't do shit for 8 months. I literally slept. I had just nothing but time. I knew that there was going to be a potential to be laid off. They were talking about it since like 2019. And then, of course, 2020 happened and they were, being like corporations are. And then towards the end of, and by that, I just mean, they were trying to be reassuring. No. We're not going to lay people off. And then come August, they do these massive, like this 10% layoff. But anyway, so in March of 2021 is when I was laid off. And so I knew that there was a potential for that to happen. And honestly, I was praying for it. I fucking hated that job. It was sucking the life out of me. Anyway, so I knew that it was potentially going to happen. And I started stashing cash. I'm going to like fuck around on my phone while I'm telling you this story. I hope you don't mind. But yeah, I just started stashing cash. And I think it was easier to do that because of the pandemic. And I wasn't spending as much money. I wasn't going out, whatever. Right. So it was more, I had more, oh my gosh, I can't do two things at once. I just was more able to save money. So I had stashed a bunch of cash and, okay, there we go. Sorry. I stashed a bunch of fucking cash and I'm like such a terrible storyteller. So when I was laid off, like I said, I just didn't do anything for 8 months. There was nothing that I wanted to do. I was so burnt out too. And I had a lot of stuff that I needed to heal and unpack and, wounds that I needed to tend to, and that I just never really gave myself the time to do. So for 8 months, at least, I didn't do a thing. I slept, I laid around, I basically just followed, right? My own like inner guidance. And of course, like a lot of the time I felt really guilty because I was like, man, I should be doing something. I should be, trying to figure out a job. I should be figuring out what I want to do next. I should be. I was like shooting all over myself. But I just kept getting this internal guidance to rest, not do anything, that the answers will come. You will figure out what you want to do next by literally doing nothing. So I honored that. I kept, anytime I would start feeling guilty, I would, kind of self-soothe. And anyway, so, and no joke, I did figure out, I started this YouTube channel at the end of I started the videos at the end of 2021. I didn't put out my first videos until, I think it was December 2021, but they were for January of 2022. And then right after I did that, I started an Etsy store and did that for the whole year of 2022. I actually ended up spending a good portion of 2022 with my parents because my mom had a surgery that didn't go very well. So I ended up spending, I think it was like 4 or 5 months with my parents to help them out. So anyway, like I went from having an abundance of time, all of this, let me bring it back to you and the Wheel of Fortune. I went from having an abundance of time to having almost literally no time and having to like force myself to rest and force myself to have downtime. So that's the Wheel of Fortune. It says that like things are just, it's in constant motion. And I also kept getting a feeling that like, you better rest now because you're not going to have, like that much time for the next however little while. And I haven't had that much time in the last 2 years to just lay around and do nothing for 8 months straight, So again, whatever has been your life, Whether that does have to do with having an abundance of time or not an abundance of time, or, being very busy or not, again, having to, or focusing all of your attention away from yourself onto somebody else or something else that's going to be coming back to you. Right? Even following your own bliss. It's allowing like your own light to guide the way. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Pentacles have to do with our money, how we get it, how we save it, how we spend it. So it could be your job. It's our time. Where are we investing our time? Where are we physically showing up and spending our time? It's our health, our physical body, anything that we place value and worth on. Your energy, also materials, resources available to you. And the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the whole tarot, which I don't really think that fire signs really enjoy. But anytime that I see the Knight of Pentacles show up, it is this reminder to commit to something and see it through, no matter how fast or slow it's going. And especially if it's going slow in your mind, what slow is, it's reminding yourself that things take time to actualize. It's also reminding yourself of it's the journey, not the destination, because this card talks about this coral creature is walking along on their path, and they find this stone that has this kind of unrecognizable glyph on it, and they're like, you know what, that would actually be perfect for what I'm working on or what I'm heading towards. So they pick it up and they carry it with them. I don't know if that hermit crab has anything to do with it. Let's see. It says responsibility, commitment, protective, hardworking. Beneath the sea, a coral creature takes hold of an old stone, inscribed with an unrecognizable glyph, perhaps eroded from years of being underwater. The coral creature understands the value of this stone where others may not. It knows that the stone will bring shelter and new life to the environment, so it takes the stone in its hands and carries it onward. So this is like, one of those things of you're not going to find this stone if you're not already on the path. If you're not on this path, right? You have to, be moving forward, have a focused direction. And it's kind of like whatever resources that you need, whether that is like a physical resource, or even this hermit crab down here, it could even be a person, a connection, a business connection, a relationship, a friend, a mentor, or something. Because again, with it being pentacles, it would have something to do to help you in the aspects of pentacles, but you have to be on the path. You have to already be heading in that direction in order for you to even see that thing. So also keep your eyes open if that's, just your internal eye, your third eye, don't close yourself off to opportunities or scoff at something because, it is maybe a little, I'm basically trying to say because, it said that stone has been underwater for some time. So maybe it doesn't look bright and shiny, but it's still the perfect thing. So again, don't turn your nose up at any opportunity type of thing. We have the Emperor here, and it's interesting because their throne is like also covered in all these glyphs. And to me, that feels like protection, or even something that gives you power in like an empowering sense, right? I mean, not like authoritative or something, but like I said, the Emperor is Aries, it's Mars. The Emperor also, they take control of things. Let's see. Authority, orderly, in control masculinity. And it is the divine masculine, but the energy, not the gender, because the energy is authority. It's orderly, it's in control, it's initiating, right? Even protective. It says the emperor sits on his stone throne, scepter in one hand and crystal ball in the other. Is that how you say that? Scepter or scepter? Scepter. As he glares into the ball, he sees the world just as he imagined it, orderly and in his control. He organizes water into tidy round pools and expects the rest of the world to follow suit. This could be, of course, a figure in your life. I mean, it could be a father, of course, just because it's the emperor. It could be a woman who just displays more masculine tendencies, or they take on the more masculine role. Because again, they could be trying to kind of keep things compartmentalized, or, kind of keep things, including you, in a bubble. And you're like, that is very uncomfy. This could just be like how you have been living your life. Maybe you have been keeping things organized and everything, kind of has its place, and it's just the way that you like it. But it also, it prevents things from coming in. It prevents surprises, quote unquote, unexpected things. I feel like it also even makes the tower worse, in the sense of it can be very dismantling if you have, everything very compartmentalized. And if one thing changes, right, it's like, like it throws off the balance of everything else, So it does feel like this thing of like loosening your grip. And again, if it is somebody else in your life, if it's another person, if it's an authority figure in your life, it could be somebody that you are in relationship with. It could be your peer group, your friends, right? Because we have the 4 of Cups after it. Cups have to do with our emotions, our heart center, love. And in this specific 4 of Cups, there's this baby elephant here. There was 2 elephants to begin with in the Ace of Cups. And in this card, it talks about one elephant has already left in search of water, which is interesting because there's like water down here. But they haven't come back yet. So this other elephant was like, I'm going to see if I can find them. And if I can't, I'm going to see if I can find water. And they leave this little baby behind to keep them safe. They think that's the safest option for this little baby elephant. So that's why I was saying that, like, this is a journey. You're going to have to separate yourself. This could be your current self and your inner child. 2, this could be, you having to walk away from what is familiar to you. And it's literally something only you can do. It's your path, and it is unique to you, and it has always been there, and it always will be there too. It's not like if you don't do it now, it's never going to happen, right? But it's something, wherever you are in this, whether you are ready to take that step or not, the path is always going to be there once you do decide, whether it's now or a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. The most important part is that you actually do take that step. And once you do, we have the Chariot card. It's like things start moving forward very fast. See down here? They're not even pedaling. They can't even reach the pedals. There are no pedals. This is, being divinely guided. You will end up wherever you are supposed to be. This is a card of Cancer. It says determination, focus, willpower, blazing forward. Balancing atop a unicycle, the fool attempts to direct their chariot forward. The chariot is a sign of determination and strength. While the chariot may be difficult to maneuver, the fool knows that to preserve, they must keep focused and stay on course. Then we have the Eight of Cups. Poor thing. It's not going to be easy, right? And it might feel lonely in the beginning. Not for long, though. So the Eight of Cups talks about walking away from something. It's making a decision that this thing over here, it's no longer giving you emotional fulfillment. And that could be sad, of course. But there's this cave here, right? And it is shelter. And they do walk in that cave, because in the Nine of Cups, they come out of the cave on the other side, and they find their tribe, they find their people. But again, you have to go into that cave. It's like that the only way out is in thing. That's that. We have the Page of Cups, which feels like being on an island, right? But it's like really focusing on yourself. Even stopping to smell the roses is how I'm like even kind of feeling that butterfly thing. It's really finding, discovering the things that you really enjoy, discovering the things that really light you up. Really, like allowing yourself to be imaginative and creative and express yourself in the way that is true for you. We have the Four of Pentacles. It's interesting because it kind of seems like, to me, there's this feeling of this stone being, it's like the first person in your family to go to college, or the first person in your family to graduate college, or, the first person in your family to move out of the city that you were born in, or move out of the state that you were born in, type of thing. Like, that's the feeling that I'm getting. And like these three stones are kind of like, oh my God, they did it. It's, kind of inspiring to other people. The Four of Pentacles, though, generally talks about like restriction, though. And that's what the story is talking about. The sea begins to restrict its creation of stones. It worries that it has overindulged in the act, and as a result is losing control of itself. At the heart of this self-preservation is greed. Does the sea not need to hold on to so much? Surely it can let the stones speckle the shore. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it is taking that step. And maybe it's a step that people aren't familiar with, or they haven't allowed themselves to do, or they didn't think was possible. We have the Seven of Pentacles. After that, which is, again, focusing your time and attention on a thing in order to see it grow, to see it materialize. And then we have the Sun. There's Leo. We have the Sun. This is bliss. Following your bliss, right? I mean, you get to it, you find it. The Ace of Cups. There's those two elephants I was talking about. The Hanged Man, Temperance. Page of Pentacles. Ace. Yeah, I mean, there's the focus. The focus right now is to get on that path. Whatever that path is for you. And I'm going to leave it there for now. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.